The other part is, there's a cultural aspect of this. And this is something I want you to think about because it's never discussed in the context of billboards. And I think the AI people in the room will understand this better than most. And that is that billboard blight leads to a degradation of the visual environment as a whole. And once the built environment and the visual environment are degraded, and once there's a Wild West atmosphere and the enforcement of rules that control it, then I think people start to lose a connection to their visual environment. They lose a chance to care about it. Because physically, once something is wrapped in vinyl or coated with LEDs, you actually can't see it anymore. So you've actually lost the visual, physical, visceral connection to place when it's wrapped in advertising. And so once you've lost your connection to a place, then don't you stop caring about it. Because you don't feel part of it, because it's separated from you. And for me, this is the biggest issue in the billboard wars that are going on around the country, and you are not alone in this, is that we've lost control of the public realm. The public realm has been surrendered in many cities to outdoor advertising companies. Now, whether you think that's a good idea or not, the problem with that is that no one is bothering to ask whether that's a good idea or not. It is entirely possible that the city of Los Angeles and the people of LA may decide they want 1 million billboards, but the discussion never occurs about whether that's a good thing for us. And so, to me, when you stop becoming a citizen and start becoming nothing more than a consumer of messages on your buildings, then you have lost the connection to your place, and the entire civic structure of the city is weakened. Now, I'm not saying it's falling apart, but you remember the word, citizen comes from civitas, which means city. There's a definite connection between citizenship and the place. You cannot separate them. And once you have actually thrown up a wall of vinyl and LEDs between you and the place, how can you care about it anymore? And doesn't that lead to some level of alienation at some point? So to me, there's a cultural issue that never really gets discussed, and I hope that the AIA, as it goes through this process of bringing this issue to the public's attention, will also talk about that. What is the visual impact of these outdoor advertising? What does it do to us?
Exactly. Yes.
And more importantly, who controls it? Who controls the quality of the public realm, the visual qualities of the public realm? Is it the outdoor advertising companies in cahoots with the political enablers, or is it the citizens of the city in some kind of process where some deliberative effort is made to determine whether it makes sense or not? And the problem you've got, because you have so many illegal signs, and because signs are everywhere, you've basically lost control of the built environment of Los Angeles and have surrendered it to this one particular industry, whether you like them or not. I think we could probably all agree no industry should dominate a city the way this one does without proper regulation and control. And without that discussion, the fundamental discussion about whether it makes sense to allow that stuff to be out there in the first place. Because I'll stop in just a second, but there's one more point, and I think Dennis mentioned a little bit about what billboards are. We have to remember that too. In addition to being a visual experience, and some people find them artful and interesting and clever, and they are. Some of them are clever and artful and interesting. But that's not really the issue. The issue is whether the commercialization of the public realm has gone to such a degree that we are becoming alienated from the place. And this issue of commercialization applies, by the way, not just to billboards, but to many other forms of marketing. When you can't, we wrap our buses. I mean, you can't even walk into a bathroom now without an ad being presented to you. And the reason was actually mentioned earlier, and that is because people in their home environments are pushing marketing away. And you're probably experiencing this yourself in your own environment. Because you fast forward past the ads on TV, people subscribe to satellite radio specifically to avoid the advertising. You're probably on the do not call list for telemarketing. You have a spam filter on your computer. In your home environment, you control the amount of marketing messages that come to you. And that's a comfortable thing for you. Increasingly, though, people are pushing it away, which means that marketers now have to chase you down the street. And they have to throw it in front of your face. And that's what that's why outdoor advertising is so popular, and why companies are relying on it, because you are a captive eyeball for them when you're on the street. But this is the thing. They are depending on the public investment in the public realm to sell their product, and they pay nothing for that. No one pays a view easement to get to show the billboard to you as you walk down the street. No, there's no compensation to the public for that. They take advantage of your taxpayer investment in the road, or the highway, or the sidewalk. They pay nothing for that. Yet they take advantage of that, and then to compound it, they thrust their message in front of you, whether you want it to be thrust or not. And this issue, by the way, has been around for a long time. And, even William F. Buckley, who recently died, hated billboards. I think he took sort of a libertarian view on it, and he said that billboards are an act of aggression against which the public is entitled as a matter of privacy to be protected. And that's what he's getting to in that point, is that billboard advertising is compulsory consumption of a product, which doesn't exist in other places, in other realms of commercial enterprise. So that's what makes them special, which is, by the way, why they're able to be regulated so strictly by governments. The courts have ruled that the parasite principle applies here, because they're a parasite on the public investment regulations process. I'll stop there. I can go on, and I probably will later on. But I want you to just think of this as a cultural issue. The commercialization of the public realm, the degradation of visual space, the lack of connection to the urban fabric. Remember, in the old days, the urban fabric didn't mean the fabric that was wrapped around the building. It meant something else. Now it means vinyl. So I'll leave it at that. I'll probably come back to that and the technical legal issues. I'm sorry to go on.
No, don't. Sorry.